Hey fight fans, welcome back to the Fight Book. Yesterday we talked about all the fights that were announced by the UFC in the past few days. So in this video, we will talk about the potential fights that UFC is planning and they are working on them, just like JDM versus Islam Makhachev. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. Before we start talking about those potential fights, we have two official updates from the official fight schedule. First one is bad news, and that is from UFC Abu Dhabi co-main event, a 5-rounder between Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico. The news is that as per Westnick MMA, Movsar Evloev is out of this fight with a minor injury. Evloev had to pull out due to an injury or health condition he sustained during a fight camp in Thailand. Anyway, the fight is not cancelled, it is just being postponed because Aaron Pico will still be making his debut against Movsar Evloev. As per rumors, this fight will now take place at UFC 319 card, the card which really needed big fights. After the reports of Movsar Evloev's pullout, I saw many channels are uploading the fact that Movsar Evloev's 11 out of 20 fights had been cancelled. But the truth is, out of those 11 cancelled fights, Evloev pulled out only 3 times. Yes, the other 8 times he was not the reason for the cancellation of his fights. Anyway, the other official update in fight scheduled is the official announcement of UFC Perth, Australia on September 27th. Yesterday, I told you that the first fight is announced for that card and it is a featherweight bout between Du Chui versus Daniel Santos. Now it is confirmed that this card will take place at UFC Perth. The rumor says that this will probably be headlined by Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland too. Now a little talk about the new rankings updates after UFC Nashville. No movement for Derek Lewis after beating Thalisson Teixeira, and the Black Beast stays firm at number 9 in the heavyweight rankings. The man he beat, Teixeira, drops 1 spot to number 14. As far as the co-main event is concerned, the close round 3 in the co-main event at UFC Nashville between Gabriel Bonfim and Stephen Thompson sees an immediate impact in the rankings. Bonfim enters the welterweight list at number 14, while Wonderboy drops out of the top 15 despite that loss was a controversial split decision. Anyway, after Steve Garcia beat Calvin Kattar, he also debuts on the featherweight list at number 11 and Kattar drops to number 15. Additionally, with Max Holloway removed from the list, Evloev is now the official number 1 contender and Bryce Mitchell returns in a tie at number 15. Another fun fact, Michelle is also no more a featherweight. He has moved down to the bantamweight and will be making his divisional debut next week at UFC Abu Dhabi against Saeed Nurmagomedov. Anyway, in the last rankings update, following her UFC Nashville win over Lauren Murphy, Eduarda Moura debuts on the women's flyweight list at number 15. Viviane Araujo, who has been cut from the UFC, departs the list. Anyway, there are 2 positive updates from this weekend's UFC 318 card. First one, you are gonna love it. Charles Oliveira says that he wants to return later this year in November or December, and he names Max Holloway as someone he would be interested in fighting. So yes, after that crazy knockout loss from Ilia Topuria, he is not taking a long layoff from the octagon. The co-headliner of UFC 318, Paulo Costa, tells Ariel Helwani that he plans to call out Khamzat Chimaev with a win over Roman Kopylov because Chimaev had messaged his girlfriend ahead of their original 2023 booking saying something along the lines of "I'm going to beat your husband." Now let's talk about the potential fights and see what is the progress for the top UFC fights that are yet to be announced. First one is Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. After Jon Jones vacated his belt and now Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion, Aspinall had revealed that he met with the UFC and has an opponent and date set for his next fight. UFC fans were guessing that Cyril Gane is going to be his first title defense, but Gane, speaking during the Aries 33 broadcast, said he hasn't heard anything yet about a potential fight with Tom Aspinall on an upcoming UFC card. He obviously wants the fight and believes it's going to happen, but still he doesn't have the contract. If you look at the current heavyweight rankings, there is no other option for Tom Aspinall other than Cyril Gane, because Alexander Volkov and Jailton Almeida, the only two other possible contenders, both are verbally agreed to fight each other, and now it's only a matter of when they are fighting. Next, we have three potential welterweight fights among top-ranked fighters. Sean Brady wants to fight Ian Gary, who wants to fight Bilal Muhammad, who wants to fight Kamaru Usman. Now, Bilal Muhammad has rejected Ian Gary's call out with the help of ChatGPT. So now Ian Gary has only one sensible option left, and that's Sean Brady. And fans also wants Bilal Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman next. So I hope UFC book these two fights. On the other hand, Michael Morales says that his team has already sent an offer to Leon Edwards' team to fight in November pay-per-view. Leon Edwards also tells the media that he is working on a return in October, so the rumors for Morales versus Edwards are strong. As far as Shavkat Rakhmonov is concerned, he wants to fight for the title and is not interested in any intermediate fights. So yes, it would not be a shocking news for me if Shavkat Rakhmonov is next in the line for the welterweight belt. Now, if we talk about Ilia Topuria's next opponent, Ilia Topuria has said that he wants to return in December, but as we know, Topuria is not an active champion. So on Topuria's next opponent, Dana White had said that you have got a super fight if Islam wins welterweight title from JDM. So now this super fight is an option, and they might not give either Paddy Pimblett or Arman Sarukian or Justin Gaethje next title fight. Then there is Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval 3. Royval calls out Moreno for a third fight together at Nashville UFC in September, and Moreno accepted the call out for the trilogy at Nashville UFC via his Instagram post. Now, the most important question: who is going to headline UFC 320 at T-Mobile Arena, UFC 321 at Abu Dhabi, and UFC 322 at MSG? So, we have rumors for all three fights. If we listen to the rumors, Merab Dvalishvili will be defending his bantamweight belt against Corey Sandhagen at UFC 320 in Las Vegas on October 4th. Then Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 2 is in works for UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi, but Magomed Ankalaev says Alex Pereira is hesitating to take this fight at UFC 321, and instead Pereira wants to fight in Ramadan. Then for UFC 322 MSG card, Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev is in works to take place at UFC 322. Dana White had also said to the media that he thinks this fight should 100% take place at Madison Square Garden. And that's all in this video. Outside of this fight schedule, the biggest news in MMA media is Conor McGregor's dick. Conor McGregor sent his nude into American singer Azealia Banks' DM, and she posted it on his Twitter account, and all the MMA media is now talking about his dick. I don't think my audience is interested in Conor McGregor's dick. So let's wrap up here, because now you are completely up to date with the fight world once again. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and give your feedback in the comment section because that is important. Now do whatever you want.